Will rank every Chinese premium tank. I bought these guys myself, so if they're complete trash, I'll let you know. But in general, they're really, really good. Let's begin with T26. It has eyes, and that's pretty much the only good thing about this tank. Aside from like the cannon, because the cannon is pretty good, very fast reload speed, all that kind of stuff, but it can't run away, do nothing. It's just an absolutely unnecessary purchase. You get an identical free version of it anyways. F tier it is. M4A4 Stort. American Storts are good. They're extremely fast and mobile. It feels like you're playing arcade battles in realistic battles. Plus, having a stabilizer makes it so that you pretty much always get to shoot first. However, there's a free version of it which has a little bit better armor and high damaging shells for lightly armored vehicles, which is absolutely amazing. So it's technically useless in every single way, XP farming or progression wise. Even though it's a good tank in general, it won't add to progression of your account in any way, so it's just, it goes to D tier. M4A4. This is a good boy right over here. Just like all Shermans, it has great cannon paired with a stabilizer at low speeds, a little bit of armor which helps you. Like sometimes this armor, if you angle it a little bit, it keeps bouncing shots over and over again. It has smoke shells for trolling, browning for planes. It can do absolutely everything. Great tank in general. What I noticed is that because this tank is so strong, it allows you to get a lot of frags throughout the match, meaning that even with such low silver multiplier, you can rack up a lot of silver just because of the amount of kills that you get. It goes to A tier because it's super strong, but it won't get you very far progression wise, like tech tree research wise. That's why it doesn't go to S tier, it goes to A tier. M41 China Bulldog. This is hands down the best bulldog in game. And in general, I hate bulldogs. I hate playing with them. They're free food whenever you meet them. But this Chinese version, I might be crazy. I might be going absolutely bonkers right now. But this guy is insanely powerful. It has great cannon, great penetration, good damage for solid shots. Aiming speed is great. It has Browning machine gun. Mobility is great. Speed is amazing. It's obviously, you make one mistake and it's pretty much your last mistake that you ever made with this tank, because it has perfect amount of armor to activate the fuse of your enemy shells so that it would blow up in just perfect position of your crew compartment. It's just, you get one shot at all the time if you get hit. So yeah, zero survivability. While all the other bulldogs will go to D tier or C tier because they're that much of a trash, this goes to S tier. I love it personally. I might be insane, dude. M64. Well, it's just a worse version of M18 Hellcat. It's slower with a lot less shells while being bigger in size, which is actually a pretty big problem because most of the time you're going to be sniping Tiger weak spots, or you'll be shooting at M109 over and over and over and over again. And trust me when I say it, you're going to run out of shells very, very quickly, bro. So you'll have to be extremely accurate with this thing to utilize M64 to its full potential. Not that it's always going to help you, but it's going to be a lot better. You got to be accurate with this guy. Free-to-play Hellcat doesn't have that issue at all because you can take way more shells, and it doesn't cost $67. So yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, this boy is pretty much as expensive as Al-Khalid, which is a top-tier premium tank for this nation. B tier. Cries free. I just can't give it A, because who on earth would buy this thing non-ironically, not being collectioners? Nah, man, this is, nobody does that. Nobody. It's a bad choice in general. Good old T-34 out of 5. I mean, you will unlock a free version of this guy with a 12.7mm machine gun mounted on top, which is really, really good. And this guy doesn't have that machine gun, so it's a little bit worse. It ain't bad, but there's absolutely no reason to get this tank, right? Unless you're like a T-34 fanboy of some sort. But I mean, it does deal great insane damage. It does have great reload speed, Soviet style armor, right? If you ask players about this tank, they would definitely say this thing right over here.
I mean, it's all right, like.
So yeah, bottom of A tier because it's nothing special, but it's a good tank. IS-2 is a very positional heavy tank that one-shots absolutely everyone except for Puma. It just can't one-shot Puma at all, nor it can one-shot M109. If you don't go crazy rush mode with IS-2, you're going to cause insane hemorrhoids to your opponents. And if you play with your cheeks in front, my lord, Jesus. And Commander Booba covered with bushes, that's just dirty, man. That's just, come on, man. Slow reload speed means that you're gonna get a lot less frags per minute, but insane survivability means that you'll have to pay for repairs a lot less frequently as well. So if you do all the annoying things with IS-2, it goes to A tier, maybe even like S tier. Let's be humble. Let's place it at A tier. But if you like a solo standoff against 5 dudes, well, then it goes to B tier, because reload speed, it's not going to be sufficient enough to take multiple opponents at the same time, and it pretty much ends one way. ZDZ-59 is a maximum domination, total annihilation in its BR. Full stabilizer, great cannon, APCBC for German Leos and like Frenchies, and heats if you meet Mouses or IS-4s. So basically, you got to be good at juggling both two shells because this guy is fully stabilized. Plus, it has laser rangefinder in 8.0, which is absolutely insane, dude. Massive maps are like your best bet if you fight against your own VR. So yeah, it's such a fantastic, fun, dominant vehicle until, and that's the catch, until you meet 9.0 vehicles. Because now these boys, they be salivating whenever they see you. XM803, T55 AMD, OF40s, TAMs, and so on and so forth. You're absolute food for these guys purely because of turret rotation speed. You just won't have enough speed to react to those guys. And you know, it's fine to suffer once in a while, not a big deal. But that's not the case with this guy. You're gonna meet these dudes 4 times out of 5. And it's because 9.0 and 8.7 BRs are extremely popular. It's like if a patch comes out and this tank starts playing against its own BRs, it's going to be absolute S tier, and just get it. Don't say nothing. Just get it and just play it and just enjoy the domination, right? But until then, it's just, listen, man, you're just gonna be struggling and sweating your ass off. Because right now, it does play like a B tier vehicle. Quick cheat for you guys. If you have a friend that's researching USSR vehicles, right? If you squad up together, this tank becomes A tier instantly. Trust me, guys. Because you won't meet Soviets anymore, and you won't have to switch between 2 shells as frequently as you have to while playing against these guys. Team up with the dudes. It's A tier or maybe even S tier. I would say maybe even S tier, actually. But let's keep it at A tier. Let's be humble. Let's be humble, guys. Type 69-2A, literally the same as EDZ-59A, apart from 50% faster turret rotation, which is insanely a lot actually, and additional beauty cage, which absolutely does nothing. Plus you have 60 more horsepower, which is pretty nice. And now you might think that, well then, it must suffer at 9.0, 9.3, right? Nope. Type 69-2A right now has very, very comfortable matchmaker. One match, it's going to be like against bottom of the barrel against XMs, and then you're going to be at the top of the barrel. And there's like T-32s driving around having no clue what to do against you. It's so refreshing when you have a very, very nice matchmaker, which actually forces you to like sometimes suffer, sometimes you're like, you know, it's at least like it's a 50-50, or like 1 in 3 you're absolutely godlike. Obviously, it might change depending on the time of the day that you're playing. In general, it feels great. I'd say it A tier, definitely A tier. T62. There's the thing, right? Most vehicles in 8.7 are stronger or way stronger than T62. The previous 2 we talked about had a laser rangefinder. This guy, which is higher BR by the way, doesn't. But T62 has darts. However, they're not that great to begin with. Has pretty much the same amount of armor as the previous 2 guys. No explosive reactive armor, no laser rangefinder, no hard kill system, no combined armor, no thermals, no smoke grenades, no normal machine guns. As an 8.7, it is weak. The thing that saves it is matchmaker, because you're pretty much most of the time gonna play in top. I'd say it's B tier investment. It's the tank, it's not that bad, man, but your life purely depends on matchmaker. WMA301. Dude, whenever it came out, it was like the most dominant, the strongest beast ever. People were flaming you if you would play this vehicle. Everybody would report you basically just on sight. It's crazy, dude. Everybody hated you because that's how strong it used to be. You already know where I'm going with this. Sometimes it feels like a demon, and sometimes it feels like it's just awkward, man. Massive maps, you're gonna have a lot of fun sniping. Flanking speed is going to be amazing. You have great thermals, great shells, anti-helicopter shells, which you can snipe very effectively. You can snipe planes with that thing. It's crazy. It's amazing. But in small city maps, okay, I'm gonna try and explain it to you as accurately as I can. You guys know this. Imagine having like a Jonathan, right, in the middle of a class and is going like sideways. And get this, your teacher calls you to the board. That's how awkward it feels like playing with this vehicle in city maps. This is like the most accurate description I could ever give to someone about a tank. Your big wheeled vehicle with no reverse speed at all and horrible vertical guidance. One small rock, right? And you can't bend your stiffened cannon low enough to send one. It's super awkward and it's just infuriating sometimes. It really is. Big maps, then it's godlike again. Man, it's so situational. It's more situational than Wolfpack. So if you have a 9.0 setup, then it's A tier, no questions, because you're gonna be using it on bigger maps. And then you won't have any issues at all. As a solo vehicle or just one pick vehicle, it's D tier because you're gonna suffer a lot more than you'll have fun. Type 69 2G. This is one of my most played vehicles in general. I was learning top tiers with exactly this tank right over here. And man, I still like it a lot, man. Type 69 2G has armor that's going to save you from heat and all the smaller things as well. But don't rely on it too much, just allow it to do its magic on its own and just try to not get hit, right? These shells are incredibly good. The damage is great, the penetration is amazing. Oh, and by the way, these yellow shells are absolutely amazing because they don't have a lot of penetration, but they deal massive amount of damage. So for example, sometimes you catch light tanks, you hit their engine and they stop, or transmission and they stop, right? And you can't really peek them. It's a very awkward situation. And instead of shooting 60 times to just burn this guy down, you can load one yellow boy and send it. You're gonna one-shot that guy no problem instantly. It's a fantastic, phenomenal shell. It's really, really good. Or if you flank guys as well. If you flank them and you're shooting everyone from the side, it's going to do wonders for you. So yeah, very, very underrated shell, but I love this guy. This tank is still top of S tier. Definitely, no questions. It's amazing. Maybe I'm biased, but it feels very, very comfortable playing this cat. ZDZ96A prototype. You know Turm's? Well, ZDZ96AP is a little bit or better than Turm's in pretty much absolutely every single thing. It has 1 mile per hour faster reverse speed. It has much better explosive reactive armor than Turm's, which actually helps against kinetic munitions as well. It has 50% faster turret rotation, which is amazing. ZDZ96 also has active protection system, which helps you against like older ATGMs. And it has a shell that has a tiny bit more penetration, just a tiny bit. It doesn't make any difference at all, but you do have a little bit more penetration. At the end of the day, gameplay between these two guys is identical. Just because Turm's has 0.6 miles per hour faster top speed, which is like 1 kilometer per hour, it's not like it's going to take a certain position that ZDZ can't. You're gonna be staying in the same positions. It's just, you know, pretty much it's the same thing. Defensively, this is a really, really good vehicle, but if you really like rushing in and throwing slugs left and right, then it's going to be a death sentence for this tank, because you need to have good reverse speed to be able to be aggressive, because sometimes you go on a peak and there's going to be a lot more guys than you expected to meet, and then you got to run away, or you're just gonna get one guy and then get traded, which is not really good, right? So for defensive players, A tier. For aggressive players, C tier. And the last, but definitely not least, Al-Khalid-I. How do you say this thing? Urdu in Pakistan. Al-Khalid.
Al-Khalid.
Al-Khalid. There are good news and there are bad news as well. The tank itself is really, really, really good. And actually, I think this is one of the absolute best choices that you can get if you like playing top tier vehicles. It will bring you a little bit less silver than other premium tanks, just purely because it's going to be a little bit harder to play with, and it has a little bit smaller silver multiplier than other premium tanks. But this bad boy can unlock the entire tech tree for you and with relative ease. Why buy ZDZ96AP when you have this beast right over here? Khalid is fast forwards and backwards. It has insane mobility. Plus, dude, also, it has Gillette Max Pro Platinum Edition armor that can actually save you sometimes. Great cannon, great thermals, great shells. It just feels so comfortable to use. Actually, I really enjoy playing this thing, dude. Just a very comfortable vehicle in general. And now, the bad. The matches will end in 3-4 minutes max, and that's it. Like, it's either your team gets completely wiped or enemy team gets completely wiped. So getting a nuke with this thing is going to be very difficult, not because the tank is bad. The tank is very, very highly capable of getting a nuke. It's super easy, but everybody dies so fast, you just won't have enough time, or those matches are going to be very, very rare where people respawn over and over and over again for you to get the kills, because everybody is just one death leaving in these tiers anyway. So you know it. But I mean, not everybody cares about it anyway, so the main verdict is that Al-Khalid is extremely versatile tank. Expensive as hell, though. I mean, god damn! $7, man. God damn. It goes straight to S tier. Top of the S tier. Well, no, actually, Type 69 2G is a little bit better. I like it a little bit more personally. Maybe I'm biased, but funny how the entire S tier has only one Chinese tank. Bangladesh, Pakistan. Just either buy one of these two. Best Chinese tanks, dude. See you next time, gentlemen.
Well done.